a period where ITB were certainly the favored, even though they had the one map lead in the series. Now it's equal, and IP seem to have the edge. He's going to our partners at 1xbet. Volt instigating action and finding two instantly, but Brolin there to try and plug the gap. Crucial does lose on a lot of HP, but Cypher's there to compensate. In fact, the double at that. So that A bomb site's taken rather swiftly after Volt is the only dismissed member of ITB. They have sent Res packing.
Volt and Cypher are arguably the most important players that you want to have activate over here in this game regardless. It's good to see them start off strong in the pistol round. To quickly draw back to Mirage, I would also just like to remind everyone, Rez, never mind, doesn't want to draw back to Mirage at all. He just wants to keep the frags going. Almost has circle around back to the bomb site and will actually shut things down, so we do maintain some sort of sanity in it.
Oh, full disrespect to the smoke inside of the apartments. They just trail straight through, and they're setting up for the pop flash.
This is going to be the nice on the core, but the problem is there's still 4 players on the other side. Alexi B, the first one to break blood, and 3 now near the bomb site itself. Alexi will fall. Volt will continue to dismantle stacks as he did in the pistol round as well. Into the breach, nothing but secure in their ability to kill these pistols.
Oh, well, that's awkward. Crucial went through to the arches and thought for sure there was nobody else lingering around, but Brolin was sat inside of library, just kicking up his feet, reading a good book. I need to do a lot of reading, given the way this game has played out. I imagine there are many a note being taken, if not by Alexi B, then DJL, respectively.
Oh, DJL is not just taking notes, he's taking, like, therapy after what happened. In those anti-half buys, he's just like, they keep going in, they keep dying to the pistols, what do I do? It's not you, it's them.
Yeah, someone that was credited a lot with this.
Our rotations are coming through, but yeah, should not be too much of an issue. Brolin spotted out as well with the Galil.
Volt's got a on CT.
A couple of freebies can be picked up regardless. Why stop?
I'm also a little surprised that NIP didn't rotate as heavily as I thought they would, given that the stack broke down, there was presence on B, and, you know, at some point or other you just have to pull the pin. Roland went over there with his Galil and didn't get anything from his efforts. The pistols are finding kills.
He might even be able to actually try and make a move for another frag with a Mach 10. If he finds it, that's a lot of money to take forward. That actually tees him up nicely for the op as well. $2,900 on top of the 3K that he would have at that point. That puts him in comfortable territory, but no comfort to be found. Volt will just shut him down and Volt. Nice deep nades. With 3 players on the bomb site early on, this banana area of the map is going to be a little bit hard to actually contest up against. Crucial, however, right through the smoke will disconnect, and Roland is gone. A big player for Nip, even at the worst of times.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that's not right.
Rez through the smoke and it dissipated only part of the Molotov. Hedrick was still inside the other side.
Rez tried to make it a one-way, and although he does end up finding a kill somewhere in the middle of it all, it is still a 4 versus 2, and refresh on the smoke means that it will be safe passage overhead. Alexi B will be trying to save, but it will be only the attempt. Rollin, the menace of Vertigo, looks to find and isolate these CTs.
Yeah, they've been lurking a lot, though, even though they've broken into the B-bomb site successfully a number of times already. So you can see the NIP squad are a little bit apprehensive about escaping towards this side of the map. Also contained inside of the library, and Config's left the responsibilities of sussing out Rollin, and will floor him successfully. No one else is really close enough by to hunt down that frag, nor would it be really in their best interest. They are succeeding in dispatching of these gun rounds from an IP. This is A side. They threw some utility over at B earlier, but making that rotate round, Alexi is joined into the arches.
Oh no. Rez just gets one for free. Crucial's not quite there with the trigger, and this could be it. This could be everything turning around on their heads, as they do have some control over towards Banana. It'll still be interrupted by Brolin inside the smoke. Volt finds one, and a smoke in middle actually gives him cover to back off. The flashbang through is not accompanied by a push. Instead, it's red trick. What? Rez just on the spam. Will collect. And what goes around comes around. Crucial's magical kill has now been paid twice over. Perhaps Alexi finds yet more frags, and Cypher will at the very least make it expensive with 30 seconds. Maybe there's even time for the bomb plant, but not at all. Rez, another spam shot through.
Hey, they get a force buy to fold their way. Goes around, does come around.
Thomas? Thomas? Alright, Tommy boy. That's another freebie.
Yeah, not really sure what Brolan's plan was there. And Alexi just dry peeking into the AWP. Maybe they weren't expecting that this weapon would be pulled out from ITB, but given that they won 4 straight, there should have been some anticipation. A 5-on-3 right off the jump. But Rollin has been found, at the very least, trying to creep out of the apartments over on the A side. Thomas is getting a lot of ground on B.
They're not using their util. They're being so greedy about trying to save information. Thomas will get one more kill for free, but Rez not expected on the back of the bomb site. Now, his position given up, but he's getting aggressive. And the greed of Into the Breach comes back to bite them.
Rez knows what he has. That's the bomb dropped and exposed, and he spotted out Volt. Knows he has to be coming in from this angle. Molotov in, and it will force the issue. Config, low HP, and so taking that fight head on would have been a death sentence. One more bullet will do him in. He has to outposition him, outbrain him, play with so much patience that he outdoes Volt, but pushing forward, Volt has him locked in. That's why he's the... Those are highs that have a bit of a come down. Sometimes you see teams struggle to find that form right back where they started as soon as they jump back into their home setups.
Oh,
they haven't skipped a beat.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Michael, but I just feel heartbroken for Banana and anyone from the CTs who want to be there. Sure, there's a return few frags, but it's just... Oh my. That's a deal that goes their way more often than not. Cypher brings it back to a 3-on-2. Cypher wants to go for a bit more with the flashbang going deep. Rez will avoid it. Uses the plywood nicely. So the aggression in the end does pay off, but it didn't look like it would.
Yeah, Brolin can't get anything to go for him either. So, had the same issues that Headtrick did. Not anticipating that angle. A lovely off angle being played there from Config.
A lot of brackets control been given up by Nip. Not really looking like they're in position to retake it either. Alexi's turned away as he's trying to line up the pre-fire. That trick, giving up a kill for free though.
Oh, Rez overextending over towards bottom banana. Could have simply tucked and tried to play that position for the late round, and that's going to allow an ITB to reinvestigate that area. Brolin does try and take up the mantle though. He will be the only line of defense to prevent them from going into the B site. And Brolin has had some struggles in performing this side of the map, especially in early stages. Now it's all ITB members grouping up to swarm him. Cypher, first clear, but they line up. The headshots come in lightning fast. Brolin finally dealt with. So it's a 2-on-3 where the ITB have access to the site.
Flashbang coming out for Alexi, but Rollin in the meanwhile is inside the smoke. He knows there's going to be a reload coming out soon. Alexi, however, has been covered off by Headtrick again. The bait and switch setup between Alexi and Headtrick working out wonders in this round. Crucial. With no HP to work with, this double swing is likely going to be his demise in the Molotov. It might just catch him off as well. Covered off from the back lines. Alexi knows that Crucial went in deeper, and at this point, Crucial would rather prioritize trying to save the op instead of...
Yeah. Took them a while. Finally in a place where it is possible. Oh god, nice boost. Wasn't sure that maintaining that for so long, especially when second middle was, you know, potential timing they had to be concerned about. Thomas tried his best to duck under the sight line. Didn't help him. And was 12 feet tall.
Oh, beautiful shot onto Rez, though, in response. And with that, there's only one player left on this B bomb side. It is Brolin who struggled, except for the previous round. Could this be another one like it? Flashbang was good, but Crucial was better. It's head trick. The tri-circle around from Coffin. There is still no smoke yet, but there is Crucial, and he's hitting everything and more. The wallbang saves Hetrick's life temporarily, but I don't think he wants to stick around and contest for too much longer. Config's also on the other side of the map. Hetrick is low, and Alexi's got no util. This is going to be a safe call from NIP.
Still sticking around a little bit, just to make sure if ITB decide to chase, that it will be a costly endeavor. Hetrick, one on his exit, but that will be it. That's the round finished. ITB, I mean, they had already secured a lead coming out of this half, but now it extends even further. 6 is the max for NIP. And more, we're getting to see some different opening looks, really. You know, we've seen Thomas get aggro with his Mac 10 over towards Banana. We've seen down to 16 HP. Week before they've even seen anybody.
Well, now he's dead before he's seen anybody, if you're Thomas.
Gotta admire his willingness to do so, considering he could have very well just sent Cypher to do exactly the same job. Would have maybe made more sense to a certain degree, but...
You can also just boost up on top of the cart, you see, so... Lots of util, but a missed shot from Hetrick, and now they're trying to move in through the smokes back to CT. Cypher will be able to beat the timing for Brolin's rotation, but in fact, he's going to go all the way in from behind. Now they have to try and wait for Cypher to activate. Volt's been locked in and he knows it, but Hetrick is gone now. Still a player on the bomb site. It's Rez. Spotted out. Cypher, however, will still be the main man to keep an eye out for. Crucial's been caught out in the open. Rez, all alone in the back of the bomb site.
Oh my goodness, maybe this is a solution. Config is through so fast. Does Rollin know? He seems suspicious that somebody could have cheated past. Yeah, no, they're looking for it.
Yeah, Volt knows it's coming. And Config's wondering, how the hell? What? Is this because I'm called a ninja? It's because I'm called a ninja. They knew I'm coming from behind.
I mean, he must have heard a step as he ran out of the apartments, because Rollin went undetected, but they were laser focused on Config.
Rolling. Great kill to find. The bomb's being dropped, but unfortunately the trade makes it a little bit difficult for them to actually come through in the round regardless. Hetrick as well with the op is not the best of weapons to try spam through, and now that he's given up his position, Alexi needs to be aware about the bomb site itself. Rollin trying to circle back and over. Alexi's impeccably positioned. At this point, Volt is actually looking to go back to B. Hetrick is the difference maker here. If he lands a shot, the round is over. And indeed, it feels like it should be. Nape have got a 5th guaranteed at this point.
Come on, Volt, what are you made of? 15 seconds, you gotta get a move on. And Alexi, like you said, impeccably positioned, still inside of Boiler, and Volt does clear for it, so that was the first hurdle already dealt with. Bomb can go down. 2 players still yet to find, and Hetrick's actually closing the gap. He switched out to the AK to try and close that gap, but Volt's vacated. He's trying to play his position, trying to play time as best he can, and even going the long way round. If they simply stick it, they will win from here on out, but how do they make that call? How do they know for certain Volt is playing this masterfully? Rez is out in the open, and they have no idea, but they have to be suspicious sooner rather than later. Inside of the apartments, Rez on the defuse, but can Volt line up the shot? No! Not enough time to jump round and get the angle on Rez. Had he simply spammed, he might have connected, but how is he to know? NIP 5, but it is so damn close.
He makes 2 crucial mistakes over there. One of which...
Well, it does allow NIP for a little bit of a comeback. Pistol round, conversion should be quick to follow. They did not invest in a full force buy here on ITB. Didn't feel like Inferno was as conducive to it. even though they've been force buying all series long.
And winning very often.
Yeah.
At least a kill or two is what they will be able to get.
Well, they know it's B for certain. They drop the bomb as the first man in.
Alexei, much crucial as well, and at this point it is 4, you know they should probably be 5 as well. Rarlan is just a dead man waiting to be really picked up.
Climber back into double digits in the opening 5. ITB will certainly have their confidence knocked down a peg. Rez already taking the fight. Looking for at least one of these kills, but Thomas actually finds it first. They do lose Cypher over at B all the meanwhile, and they're still really concerned about maintaining control over the brackets. Crucial 1-for-1 again, but Rowland came straight through that smoke, and there's more where that came from. Then Thomas was nearby, but they're lining up util. Head trick caught with a nade out, and it's suddenly only Brolin that remains. Volt does have enough HP to try and take this fight head on, but Thomas is trying to be elusive.
I like this positioning from Thomas to come through, actually. This is massive. He's just looking to stop them from moving forward, and inside the smoke, it's Volt to phase it, and in the phase will collect him to Brolin. Thomas decides, you know what, my own... What?
A dink straight through smoke, but it was reciprocated.
Rollins dropped down. Position now given up. Alexei not quite close enough to the rest of his teammates. Rollin good for 1, Rollin good for 2. The third will trade. Finally, Headtrick able to come into play, and the bomb plant is guaranteed. A flash and a smoke is all they've got left, and no one actually coming in through mid. So as Moto gets smoked off, that actually gives them an opportunity to buy some more space and re-navigate in through arches to short. That will be Volt to try and make his way forward. Re-smoke back in Moto. If Volt cannot smoke out pit, this could be a problem if he doesn't use this in time. Brolin is going to be out in the open. Volt expects him right on top of that graveyard. Config and Headtrick left to try and struggle it all together, and Config has guaranteed it for them. And IP get one of those half buys for themselves as well.
Yeah. And that felt like around that, you know, even in the 3v3, there could have been an argument to save, given that they were missing out on some critical pieces of utility that make it just that much easier to crack into that A site. But
it's going to figure out that this is a stack. Little do they know that they are going to be completely wrong. That is the assumption.
oh god.
Crucial gets a freebie.
Crucials. Yeah, he's activated. He's gonna be found as well, but they never found these extra players on short, but they will make their presence known, throwing util.
Thomas is the big one being set up for. He does have a bit of a one-way as well from up on top of the smoke. Config is gone through it. And there is still an opportunity to be found, but the headshot will not be enough. Last two players are too far away, and with Crucial having fallen after getting the first kill of the M4, there just wasn't the firepower to provide the resistance.
Yeah, Cypher's got his hands back on that M4. There's still honestly a feasible way that they could re-entry back onto the site. Again, it feels like they don't have the resources to make this work. But I think they know that both those players were dinked on short, that these players should be low HP, so they're actually setting up a containment area so that if they try and go and save, Pit won't be safe enough.
Containment area is going to be very important as well, because NIP's money is going to be put to the limit, and as long as you're taking these two M4s forward, if you do actually find even one more kill, which they will not be doing so. Actually, Brolin just dies to himself. Okay. They can buy again very safely.
They did the last. But you can very quickly find yourself in a rut if buys like this don't pan out. That's the saving grace that ITB have had throughout the series, is that they have won a number of these rounds already, and they find Brolin trying to boost up logs.
Gorgeous stuff from Cypher right there.
Brolin's been getting abused on Banana, both sides of the coin.
That's gotten a little bit better now that the T side is coming around, but it's definitely not where you'd expect him to be.
Still playing very defensive and without very much information. NIP grouping up inside of the apartments and setting up for what could be a drop out of the apartments. leikkeet doesn't have, actually no, just recovered a flash. And will line up for his teammates to jump out. Roland blinded by it and actually caught out. Great pathing there from Rez to just jump out of the apartments and hone in on his position, expecting that he'd be inside a mini pit. And that makes these players that were committed to the arches in somewhat of an awkward spot, but that kill into leikkeet does give them more leeway.
Flashbang as well, as almost is just trying to get aggressive early on to make sure there's no one inside Graveyard. Crucial found another in the meanwhile, so Nip cannot defend this post plant without having some sort of monstrous performance from the individuals. Hedrick and Rez generally are good for the late rounds, but with this much utility still left, the Molotov as well, I'm not quite sure whether that's a sight or not, but Rez is the only one now left. He's not got much HP either. They do have a kit, and now they're trying to stick the defuse. Switches out for the MP9. Cypher will fall. Rez and Hedrick pull it all together. And you remember what you said about the downward spiral, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
I think this buy contributes to that more than anything else. Gives him a chance at the very least, but Roland has been abused in this exact position so many times over. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't opted to change it. Rez keeps it going, and it is just a full collapse.
What? Rez just tapped what? They are really committed to a 4A presence here from ITB, which means that Cypher's role is that much more difficult. He has Molotovs, though. They've been dropped in his feet. First kills there, and a smoke as well at the entrance to B, but the smoke just across into the bomb site is awful. leikkeet dropped, and Config at least there to trade, but they know that Cypher is still alive and still around. Volt wasn't the one that was actually dealing with all the issues. 4-on-3, bomb going down, and NIP have to maintain their numbers, but that bomb just barely gets planted while Cypher escapes with the kill.
Well, could this be another opportunity for them to bring together a big 2-on-4? Rez and Hedrick, same members to do it before, and Rez is coming in on the flank. Even knows about the flank on the flank, but Roland has found the frag. Hedrick is all alone, and in his loneliness, he will fall. Rez looked like he'd read that. He looked like he'd realized what's going on. He's going to get 2 kills, and it's all back to Nip, but fortunately for them, Roland does recover.
Oh, God. Roland had his knife. They'd have to deal with one more buy if they dispatch of this one. There'd be a force buy in there as well.
Big if, though. Great Molotov to come into the back of the broken wall. Timing is fantastic. Cypher just going to be able to keep himself solidly in position. There are more leads to try and prevent him from actually going forward for a little bit more, but in fact, he's going to be able to force them off and even take a duel versus the boosted Hedrick. This one, he doesn't win, though.
Yeah, he thought for sure they were going to go through the smoke, but that's how they were keeping him in position. The boost. Has just been so patient as well. Just as the solitary lurker on the A side of things. To reveal his hand, but they're pulling an extra man over on ITB. Roland spotted, headshot immediately delivered, but because the wall was in the way, 6 HP, or rather 3 HP is what he'll get away with. leikkeet through the smoke, but Volt has him dead to rights. Didn't expect that he was there at the arches, given that he got by scot-free the first time over, and Volt's even found another.
Roland has been in this exact position so many times. This has been one of the big difference makers to why Into the Breach are losing these rounds, because when they're hitting the A-bomb site, Roland seems to be just a freebie. He's 7-16 right now as the A-side anchor, one of the most important positions in the game. Rez is about to walk into his crosshair. Roland will find another. We traded out Hedrick, good for more damage. So at the very least, he will make it into the breach.
To allow NIP back into this game. They're assembling the boost, and NIP are already at the mouth of B.
Also very early last smoke, and they're pushing in through it. Cypher and Volt, well, really just Cypher, will pick up some stats.
It felt like Volt helped.
I mean, sure.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you try, Mike.
Full anti-eco ace from Cypher. No ace is the same.
Well, there goes Roland. And Thomas, no. As they fade away, Roland has actually taken a slightly different position. It's been one of the two he's been playing largely, under shelter or under apartments behind the hay bale. Hay cart.
It's crazy to think how much of a stud Rowland was on the first map, and
Yeah.
just hasn't been able to replicate that, transferring into Inferno. Maybe there's still some kinks to be worked out about how to play it or what to do. But NIP have had their own struggles in that department the whole series long. There's been players like Config, whether it's been Brolan as well, and his struggles, in spite of the fact that, he's kind of clawed his way up the scoreboard. Aside from Rez and Headtrick, we don't have these big moments being delivered by many of the other NIP players.
2 smokes, a Molotov, and a grenade available over here. And they need to start deploying them soon. Crucial gets the quick kill. The grenade's going to be following forward as well. Look at the damage that's dealt to Config. He's just not in a healthy position at all. No util for a nip to try and help themselves out with either. Crucial's missed a chance. Cypher will recover and Config trades. And it's Cypher to be the second to fall to the hands of the big con. Rollin will lead the charge now on the retake into the breach. We're not quite able to deny the bomb fun from coming through, but Config's immediate casualty makes it so much easier. They just have to circle around, but Headtricks brought it all back. It's a one-on-one. Vault has got the kid as well. Vault, stagger peeking forward, will be unable to get anything there.
And out-duels each and every one of them. Not out of the woods just yet. ITB, their money's on a pristine place either, but Crucial continues to pry bar these rounds open. Another ult pick.
Headtrick's gone. Freebie found. One of the big late round players located. Almost has switched up positions with Rollin as well. He's recognized the fact that Rollin was being somewhat abused over here. Maybe a change in styles is what could assist. I don't know if Rez's position was given away because he picked up the AK, but I imagine it was.
You know what's coming. Crucial won't miss. 1 for 1 after he falls, and Thomas as well. His patience in the apartments pans out. Oh, this could be good timing. They're setting up for a flash, and Brolin caught out. Alexei right behind him, but they're out of the apartments. Thomas stuck in at shelter. The first kill's there, and Thomas doubling up. It's only Rez that remains, and he has been a hero. He has been a tank, but this is a task too great. Into the breach, win the series 2-1, and close things out on Inferno.
And Nip just had the star players in head.